Waffle Talk Super Show. This is the eye on the stream of many eyes. Shauna and I have watched. Did you watch all of day one?
I watched most of day one.
Hmm.
There's a little bit of time in the fourth grade that kind of cut out, and I kind of had to go back, but I watched most of it.
Hmm. So, for people who don't know, the Stream of Many Eyes is a 3-day event on the D&D Twitch channel where they announce the new stuff that's coming out. Like last year was Tomb of Annihilation, so now we find out what this year's is. And they play games, like their groups play games. So on day one, it was Force Grey, which was Matt Mercer's kind of super group, and in Dice Camera Action, episode 95, where for the first time, actually, Nate was with the group. So that was really cool. So this is kind of like, I call this like the Super Bowl of D&D, right? So
Hmm.
it's special, right? So
Yeah.
I never drink ever. Like I
Oh
haven't
no.
I haven't drank in 4 or 5 years. And I mean, then in my life, I probably drank less than 40 times, right? So I don't know anything about alcohol, so I went to the gas station and I grabbed a thing that looked cool. So I got this juice joint, and I'm going to have one sip of it, just one, because I can't handle it. I can't handle this stuff.
No, same. I can't.
So, yeah. So, okay, so before I drink this, let me
I
drink
just
it, and then we'll see if I can survive the, I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to, what does it say? It's 12% alcohol, which
oh
is
boy.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Two ti like twice as much as beer. I think. I
This this is so it's not
like
good.
shot. Oh,
It sort of smells like watermelon, but
it's probably.
okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So
How was it? How was it?
I don't know. It's like if you had a good watermelon drink and then you put like gunk in it.
Oh,
It's
I
alcohol.
get you. I get.
I
I
don't. I
get
don't.
you.
I'm not a drinking person, so alcohol doesn't taste good to me. It's kind of like I'm gonna drink more though. Show's off the rails, everybody. It's over. All right. It's okay. I kind of like it. Okay.
All right.
So the stream started off with who else but Anna Prosser Robinson talking with Nathan Stewart, I think.
Yep.
And so this show, they've got sets and stuff. It's like a big thing. Oh, Ramrod!
Yay.
Yeah, Ramrod with some bits. I don't know. What do you get when you use bits on this?
I don't know.
Does
We.
that mean I have to drink again?
Oh no! Don't start that. Don't start that.
Yay! This
Ra-
is before day two. Like right after this, we're gonna do. I'm gonna write. Oh, also on
Oh.
my blog, everybody, all day on my blog, Power Score RPG at Blogger. I'm gonna be writing summaries of everything that happened. So I have all day one on my blog. And also, you should check out Nerdarchy did a really nice rundown of day one and all the things you learned.
Yep.
And Merrick Blackman, who I like, he always has good insight, and he wrote some cool stuff too. So, all right, Ramrod, you said yes, so here we go.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah. So, uh, Shauna, let's see what we got here.
Yep.
The first thing, the, oh boy, the first thing on this show, they set it up where it's like they set up booths, kind of. It was like you're in Waterdeep, and each
Mhm.
building had ties, like one of the side products that's coming out.
Yep.
So the first one that I remember here is Art and Arcana.
Yes.
It's just a
Yes. The.
D&D art book where now some of you might find this boring, but it's a book about the art of D&D, for all the way back from the 70s to present day. So some of this stuff is just they actually had the actual paintings of the first edition DMG and the Unearthed Arcana cover. Jeff Easley, he always did all those awesome ones, but it also had a map. Ed Greenwood is so crazy. He's an amazing
Mhm.
person. He invented the Forgotten Realms when he was a little kid, and they actually had a hand-drawn map of the realms by Ed Greenwood from when he was a little kid. That was
Nice.
on display, and it's in the book. And they had a character sheet from the Ramrod.
Oh
Ramrod.
no.
All
Oh
right,
no.
another bunch of bits. Why don't you talk about art and arcana while I go ahead and wet my whistle?
But yeah, they just recently unveiled the like the special edition. The hardcover of that thing is a awesome like Hydra 74 like that did the artist who did the Volo and the Xanathars, and it looks really awesome. Like it has like a slipcase and like little like maps and stuff inside there. So that book looks really great so far.
Yeah, yeah. There's two versions, I guess. One's got the Hydro
Hmm.
74 cover, and
Hmm.
one. And I guess the people who went, because at the Stream of Many Eyes, you could buy a ticket, and go to one of the shows, and you get a bunch of free stuff. And one of the free things you get is like a booklet that shows some of the art and arcana stuff. So I think tickets were like $200 for one show. So
Yes.
it's definitely
Yeah.
it's a thing.
Yeah.
They definitely are experimenting with pricing.
Hmm.
They're not. They're. I do think that D&D players have money, right? Because there's this chunk of D&D players that are 30s, 40s, 50s, and
Yeah.
some of them are,
Disposable
some of them have
income.
money now.
Hmm.
Especially, I guess, once their kids move out or whatever. So there was a few things. We're gonna get to one in a minute. It's like, dang, that's a lot of money there, people. But all right.
Hmm.
So so this is it. Okay, so the next booth they went to was, where am I? Asks Ramrod. I am at a hotel. I got a hotel because I'm gonna be doing some late shows, and I was afraid, the walls are like paper in my place. I didn't want to wake up my neighbors, and
Hmm.
I won't say anymore, but um,
For production.
but but then I got here and it was like, it's a long story. But yeah, this is the first time I think I've ever done a show without my thingy. So okay, so Shauna, why don't you tell us about Beetle and Grimm's big box of stuff?
Oh, I did not see that part of it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
That was
guess
one of
what?
the little chunks. Yeah, like in the
I'm gonna
first
I'm
bit.
gonna I'm gonna inform you. Here we
Hmm.
go. So I'm pretty sure this is actually owned by Matthew Lillard because Beetle was the name of his character, and on an earlier interview he had mentioned wanting to do some Beetle and Grimm projects with Wizards of the Coast. So, but I thought it was like he was talking more in terms of because Beetle and Grimm are apparently characters that he and his friend have had since they were little kids, and he
Hmm.
wanted to do stuff with that. But what this is it's a deluxe version of Dragon Heist, which is the new adventure,
Mm.
Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So it's this big box. It's called the Platinum Edition, and in it it's got 20 minis, unpainted, of the key NPCs of the adventure. It's got deluxe handouts. It's got nice maps and I don't know, a bunch of, and like little handouts and trinkets and stuff from the adventure. Like, I'm sure if there is a magic stone in this adventure, which I think there is, they probably have a magic stone.
Oh yeah.
I know there's a lot of D&D players without disposable income. I know. So this platinum edition thing is $500,
Yeah.
but for during the stream it's $450.
Hmm.
It's like, good lord, that's a lot of money. But
I mean, it's. I'm looking at it now. That it's a good assortment of like high quality like stuff. Like the book, like the case looks awesome. The has maps. So like if you're gonna go all out on like this campaign, and you have the money, this seems like a really cool thing.
mm, I
Like
just gonna
minis.
guess I'm gonna have a regular drink,
Oh no.
everybody. So not gonna spend bits. So
Ramrod, this is you. This is
no,
on you, Ramrod.
don't do it. So yeah, Beetle and Grimm's. I was kind of like, the thing is, like, I like it. Here's the problem for
Hmm.
me. I don't really run games in person anymore. I run
Yeah.
them online,
Hmm.
so there's not really a lot of purpose. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, curious problem of like, playing most of stream games.
I would say, if you have it, oh, he did it. Oh, one if it if you have a game, it's gonna be a long hour. Uh,
Oh my god.
um, if you have a game at home and you
Hmm.
have 5 players in your group, and you each chip in $100. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing about it, though. From
Hmm.
what I understand, this is a short adventure. It's for
Yeah.
levels 1 to 5.
Yes. Hmm.
I don't know if 5 is the max level where you end up, or that's just is that I don't know.
I mean that's 1 to 5. Yeah, probably end up there.
Yeah.
Or you could like, yeah, you could probably. There's probably enough material that you could probably modify things, adjust things to be higher level if the campaign wants to keep going. But 1 to 5 seems to be the general like sweet spot for people.
John a
It's cool.
bootlegger.
Oh my god, you're halfway. You're
Watermelon shot.
halfway.
Alcohol. I don't know how. Not. I don't want to get too off topic. I don't. I once tried to have McDonald's with a beer, and it was
Ooh.
like the grossest thing in my life ever. I don't mean to. I know a lot of people like beer, but for me, it's just. I just. So anyway. Okay.
Get the
Tasting the watermelon. That's got some watermelon in there.
So the next thing they showed, was it the dice?
Uh, the dice. What was the dice?
That was their the new dice set that they're going to be coming out with
Yeah,
to go with it.
they didn't show it.
They've
No,
had images of the
okay.
packaging and stuff so far, so they look like they're kind of like royal blue with like silver like numbers, but they have like the little like life tracker like
Hmm.
that. Yeah, like they said that Magic's had for like the last couple commander sets, and those are pretty neat. So it seems like they're it's definitely a step up, I think, for what they're going for from the Tomb of Annihilation dice. I think
Two
seems
things,
strange.
Ramrod. This is a celebration of D&D, so it's you didn't. The bits are fine. That's why I have the alcohol. This is a special. This is a special show. This is like Christmas for
Hmm.
D&D. So and I think a lot of people drink at Christmas and New Year's, right? So
Oh, New Year's, 100%.
okay, here's what he said about the dice. First thing he said was, "We made some mistakes with the Tomb of Annihilation dice." And immediately I was like, what's he talking about? Then I thought
Mm,
back to it, and if you remember when the Tomb dice came out, there was a photo of the tin which looked completely different from the tin you got. People
yeah.
really didn't like that, so immediately I thought, oh, he did it again. All right, 1 second. Okay.
God.
And immediately I thought of that, but he said there should be two d20s because
Hmm.
for advantage. That way, when you have advantage, you can roll the two and or at the same time. And they also put in a life tracker.
Yes.
Yeah. It's based on a device they use in Magic, so they kind of stole it and changed it.
Yeah,
But
it's just like a little two dials, one with so it's like 1 to 10 on one side, 1 to 10 on the other side. So
what's that for?
it's for Magic for counting your life. So when you get hit, you start
Yeah,
off with
but
like 20 life.
how do you use it in D&D?
Oh, just to keep track of like how much hit points. So it's like hit point tracker. It's just
So
it's just a general numeral tracker.
what does it go up to 100 or something?
It double digits. So
Okay.
1 to 99.
Yeah. And so it's weird because he was talking about that dice set from Tomb,
Hmm.
and it was a little, I don't know.
I mean,
I
it
mean,
was
I
a
like
dice set.
it was yeah, it was dice. I liked the tin, but I did like the tin in the photo more. And so it was weird when he all of a sudden said it was two d20s. It's like, mm,
Yeah.
I don't really care about. Well, whatever. That's cool. Um, I guess the tin will have a beholder on it, right? All right. So then they started talking. Unless I'm missing something, they started talking about
Hmm.
Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is the new
Yes.
adventure. We later learned that it's for levels 1 to 5 characters.
Hmm.
It's set in Waterdeep, and
Hmm.
there's 4 villains. And the DM, when he or she is preparing the adventure, you pick which villain you
Hmm.
want to use, and there's different stuff for each villain. So, like if you pick one villain, it's fall. If you pick another villain, it's summer. There's one linked to each season, and I guess they're saying part of the reason for this was they want to make this replayable so that people who play this all have a different experience and they could, in
Yeah.
theory, play it multiple times.
Hmm.
He said each of the 4 villains is very powerful, and the group really won't have a shot at killing the villain, which is always like they always do. You know, the heroes always. You know what I mean?
But they'll try. They'll try.
They
Either
always
they'll
try.
die or
hmm
they'll kill it in some weird way.
hmm Um, and let's see. In the beginning, let's see, in the very beginning of the adventure, Volo. I'm sure most people. Well, if you don't know, Volo is a big NPC. Volo's Guide to Monsters was a book
Yep.
that came out last year. He's been in D&D for a long time. Volo actually meets the group at the very beginning, gives them a quest, and if they complete the quest, he gives them a building or a business or something.
Which is really cool. Like
hmm
that's one of those aspects of like D&D that's kind of exciting. It's like the down. Like seems like they're really doubling down on the downtime activities in this, and like giving a group like a base of operations that they can kind of like customize is pretty cool. It's the thing I like in games and things I like in like D&D. So.
Downtime is awesome, and they have
Hmm.
never really. People don't seem to use it very much,
Hmm.
and so I'm really excited to see it put into the adventure. That's one thing I haven't been able to do on my streams was
Hmm.
run downtime the way I do at home, and I would really like to start doing that because downtime is like really a fun thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's no limit on how much you could expand on it and turn it into something really big and fun. I mean, to me, a lot of carousing is like
Hmm.
the most fun thing in D&D. You know, your group goes on an adventure, they come
Yeah.
back with all this cool stuff, they have money. So it's
Hmm.
like, all right, let's go out on the town, you know, and all the fun, wacky stuff you
Yeah.
get into. It's fun.
I mean, it's a good opportunity for like organic like plot progression and stuff like that. They can get in their own trouble
hmm
and kind of like procure like magic items without it kind of breaking like immersion or story beats. And that's kind of cool. And they had a big chunk of that in like Xanathar, so it'll be nice to be able to use that.
hmm Um, I don't know anything about Jarlaxle. Jarlaxle is in this adventure as
I
well.
don't know about Drax other than he's an idol champion. I know he's a big lore thing in the Drizzt novels, but that's as far as I know.
They did talk about him a little bit actually on the stream.
Hmm.
They talked about how he's an NPC that could be a good friend of yours, or he could turn on you and become a big enemy of yours. I think he's a dark elf. He's got a big floppy hat with a feather in
Yep.
it. And he's got like a pointy saber thing.
One of the silhouettes that's in the dice camera action intro is Jaraxel. So.
hmm Yeah. So, all right. There's Jarlaxle. They said this is something I'm interested in. They're going to
Hmm.
elaborate on chases,
Yes.
because chases in D&D are awesome, but they're
Hmm.
really, really hard.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they're gonna take some stuff back. They've been kind of like sprinkling stuff from 4E in there, and like
hmm
that's the one aspect that I think
hmm
people liked was kind of like the way they did chases with like the skill challenge and stuff
hmm
like that. Like to see kind of that
Yep.
come back in a certain way.
hmm The problem with chases a lot of times is like as a DM, you set it up and you're like, okay,
Hmm.
so they'll run and there's going to be these obstacles, but
Hmm.
then the group. I mean, because as soon as the bad guy starts to run away,
Hmm.
the group immediately goes nuts. They like start throwing nets and stuff you forgot they had, like using
Yeah.
spells they've never used before. I mean, and just doing all this crazy stuff where it's like, and they'll like boost their speed so they can run like 150 feet and around, you know, and just like
Hmm.
crazy crap. And it's like, and you get into this weird spot where what they're doing should work, but if it does work, then there's no chase. So it's kind of like, yeah. So either you scrap the chase, or you kind of push them back in a kind of cheesy way, and then you have
Yeah.
to kind of go back to the drawing board for the next time. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, it's a lot easier with like the level band that they're going within like this campaign because it's 1 to 5. You don't get too many like instant stop spells like Wall of Force or stuff like that. You have like some obstacle spells, but nothing that will like just shut it down right away.
Hmm. So yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. And Chris talked quite a bit about this. Was like alarm bells went off in my head when he
Hmm.
said that when he started talking about this. He said that this is an adventure because you're in. He said because you're in a city, you can't just kill everybody. And immediately I'm
Hmm.
like,
Oh
what?
boy, yeah.
What are you talking about? Because they're gonna kill. Because what happens in my games, what's always happened is you're in a city.
Hmm.
If you don't warn them, they're just going to be killing people right in the streets, and then the
Hmm.
cops are going to come, and then you got this weird thing where they're either going to become fugitives or they're going to go to jail. And if they're in jail, the adventure grinds to a halt, and they're going to try to break out of the jail. And
Hmm.
for a while, for me, my games, when I would run jail, you're in jail and you're not getting out, and that's
Yeah.
it. That's it, you know. And my players hated that. They hated it. Like in my
Yeah.
campaign, Drizzt Do'Urden has been in jail on an asteroid city in outer space, Spelljammer, for like freaking 1,000 years. He died in jail. You know, my brother was playing Drizzt, so
Yeah.
um, so it's
Yeah.
like he said that, and I'm like, what? Like immediately, it was like, you know, okay. Especially when you have all these new people playing, 'cause, you know, like people get, it's gonna be like, you know, how the new DM's gonna manage that. That's
Yeah.
you gotta warn them up front.
Yeah,
And
because players like PCs tend to have two like modes of like will behave or you will take me when I'm dead, and I will
hmm
blow everything up.
yeah,
So it's hard to
yep.
it's hard to rein that in.
And once a player kills a guard, you know, it's
It's
like
over.
that character is screwed. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, like as far as completing the adventure, it's like, and it completely derails everything because the
Hmm.
focus is because you have to do a whole side thing. So
Yeah.
he did say there was a lot of. I hope they wrote up a whole bunch of stuff about that, like as
Y-
far as like, okay, if a character does this, here's how you can get out of it, or whatever, you know, or just be upfront in the beginning and be like, look, guys, if you break the law and you get caught, you're gonna have to make a new character.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably be a combination of the two. I imagine like most of this book is going to be dealing with stuff like that and dealing with how players interact with like the city as a like a lawful place.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Dylan in the chat dropping some like Planescape campaign knowledge. Jeez.
Nice.
All right. So, what do you think? What do you think? Waterdeep Dragon Heist. What do you think?
I I'm I'm my history with like fantasy is like kind of like the Discworld stuff with like the City Watch. That's how I kind of got into it. So I'm always in for like urban facing like adventures, and I like the way that they it's a place, but it's also like there's a mini campaign and like it's modular. So it's a good way to kind of like bring life to like I see because Waterdeep is like the way I've always interacted with like the AL and in like Forgotten Realms is that it's just kind of like a city and like there's nothing too like specific about it other than like a few places, and I think this will definitely help kind of like bring that to life a little more because it is a major place in the setting.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. DM's Guild. They did talk about. Mike Merle's made an interesting comment.
Hmm.
He said he gauges success on how many DM's Guild products are made that expand on the adventure.
Hmm.
And so they all were they talked a lot about Waterdeep, the city as a character.
Yes.
And I hear this on a lot of like in like the Millennium Falcon has a
Hmm.
character or anything like that. And I've never really I mean, never really felt that. It's just a cool thing or a cool place. I mean, it doesn't I've never seen the Millennium Falcon show personality.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
just
I
a
mean, it's
vehicle. I don't know. It looks cool, I guess. I don't know.
because I think what they want is for like Waterdeep is how people feel about like Sigil and stuff like that. Because Sigil has a definite like feel and personality to it that I
hmm
like. A lot of people just like Waterdeep is just kind of there, and I think they just want to give it that feeling to it that people kind of like have that emotional reaction to it. I think that's what they get when they have characters that you get that emotional reaction to like, oh, we're going to Waterdeep, awesome. Like I know what Waterdeep's like, and it's like cool.
And in they said that there's a chapter in the book that's completely separate from everything else, which is just basically Volo's Guide to Waterdeep.
Hmm.
Just a straight chapter that just tells you what's in Waterdeep. Like I think there
Hmm.
actually was a Volo's Guide to Waterdeep in second edition, so
Yeah.
they probably just updated it and
Yeah.
added new stuff to it. So.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that this feels like a mid length like that in between like a like 3 session like campaign and a like tomb or like the bigger books. So it feels like something that you can do. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of like dense like party stuff that you can send the campaign through, but it doesn't feel as daunting as like a Tomb of Annihilation or like any of the other ones. So it's a little easier for I think DMs, so they don't get like you don't feel like we're not going to get through this in like I don't have a year, I don't have like 2 years, but we have like a couple months, and it can feel fulfilling.
Hmm. It's kind of weird though. Like it's for levels 1 to 5. It's
Hmm.
gonna be short. Does that mean there's gonna be more? Somebody made a good point. Like it's
Hmm.
called Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Is there
Yeah.
another product Waterdeep something else?
He said that I think Chris said that there was like when he was talking about villains, and he said that there was a villain that he wanted to put in there, they just didn't have room for it, and he's alluded to a another like product that they wanted to put it into.
Because I've heard a lot of rumors about this year products. Like somebody, I don't know. This one always stuck out to me that there was 4 books coming out this year. One
Hmm.
of which was a secret book, but
Yeah.
there was apparently one that I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea anymore. But do you remember last year, Tomb of Annihilation? They announced 2 books. It was
Yes.
the Tomb and Xanathar's Guide. So today we might maybe learn about another
Yeah,
one. I don't
because
know.
it would be cool to have like a like this, which is like the setting book, but and with like a level 1 to 5, and then have something that's kind of like related, but at a higher level. Because there's a lot of like people I think that have gone through like Strahd or Tomb, and those characters are maybe too high to do this, but maybe in a different campaign be able to continue on
Mhm.
in Waterdeep.
Yeah, I mean, because like the no stone unturned thing,
Hmm.
one of the clues is plane shift. So it's like,
Yes.
what does that mean? And how does no stone unturned link to this? We still don't know that, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know how if that's been revealed. Anything's been revealed for that.
I believe this
Yeah.
adventure, Dragon Heist, involves finding keys and finding a magic stone that's somewhere in the city.
Hmm.
So maybe once you have the stone, that
Yeah.
takes you to some other adventure, maybe.
Because it could be like the jumping off point to the other like
I mean,
product. To, like you've done this, now you can do this again. You know.
finding all of those keys, and Sigil is the city of doors. So I
Hmm.
don't know, maybe I don't know, who knows.
Yeah.
Oh hi, hello.
Hey.
I can't wait to see all the in Waterdeep. Yeah, that was one interesting thing is there's these giant statues in Waterdeep that protect the city. They
Yeah.
become animated and they stomp around. And on the set that they built, there's a giant foot, which looks kind of like
Yes.
the Monty Python squashy foot. So it's pretty weird.
Hmm.
They kept stopping themselves from uttering spoilers, but apparently there's a lot of stuff in the city, just out in the city, that are important in this adventure, from what I can tell. So.
Hmm.
All right, so after all of that stuff, and what was weird about this announcement was
Hmm.
um, sites started posting the information like a half hour before the book was officially announced.
Hmm.
So all these sites were just giving all the details about the book like a half hour before the actual intro. And I was like, I tried my best to
Oh.
just stick to the stream and not look at those sites.
Hmm.
But that might have, it was just weird. And then, some people,
Yeah.
this was one of the first times I saw the Twitch chat like kind of get kind of crappy.
Oh,
Because
really?
people were being like, they already announced, like they already announced it, and like, and it was just like,
You want that presentation of it, like
it was just
it.
like, can you guys relax?
Yeah.
It's just a book, like
Yeah.
don't look. What do you want? What's the, but it was
Hmm.
weird how that happened because they have it on lockdown, but then it came pouring out like just before the big announcement. So it
Mm.
was a little
I
weird.
didn't realize that. That's
Um,
odd.
oh, okay, Ramrod.
Oh,
Johnny Bootlegger,
he
you
won't rest.
showing?
Oh, he won't rest until that's done. He's not gonna.
Well, tell you what, partner, we're just about done with this watermelon malt beverage with natural flavors.
Oh boy, naturally.
Oh,
Ugh.
I feel my chemistry changing. My goodness. All right. What else? There's a submarine in the adventure.
Hmm.
I guess it's linked to Lantan, some kind of Forgotten Realms. Hey, Genly, how are you?
Hey.
Um, Lantan is a Forgotten. You know what's funny? I was thinking about it. We got to talk about dice camera action in a second, but
Yes.
I just want to say I've run a lot of Forgotten Realms. Like most of the fourth edition D&D Encounter seasons were set in the Forgotten Realms, and I ran almost every single one. And then I ran Tyranny of Dragons in Forgotten Realms. I ran half of Princes of the Apocalypse in the Forgotten Realms. And despite running all that stuff in the realms, I know nothing about the Forgotten Realms. So Lantanese submarine,
Hmm.
whatever, I had to Google it.
Yeah.
Lantan, some place, and they have a submarine. You know what's funny about that? Chris was talking about the submarine. He had written an adventure in Dungeon in the late 90s about gnomes who made a clockwork submarine. He
Hmm.
definitely has his like tropes that he has kind of like his themes that he keeps revisiting, like
Hmm.
the dwarf fortress with the vault with the floating orbs that have treasure in them, and the submarines and gnomes and clockwork stuff, and the imps. The guy seems to love imps a lot. Yeah. Um. All right. So Force Gray.
Hmm.
Genly, you guys probably talked about it, but I like the fact Waterdeep is for low levels. Oh, you're still newish to fifth edition.
Nice.
1 to 5. It seems like it won't take long at all, though, right?
Um, it's like 1 to 2, like 1 to 3 is fast, but like 3 to 5 can take a little while. I mean, that's a good. What is that like? 10 sessions, 12 sessions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good. I mean, that's a good kind of like 3, 4 months, 5 months thing. So,
That, you know what? It works for their streams
hmm,
because they're like Birdcage was 12 episodes,
yes.
and that would be about this show. So they could have 4 shows, each using a different villain, and they
Hmm.
could run the adventure, and they'd have,
I mean, it's looks like it's meant to be modular and like so you can run through that multiple times
hmm
if you want to with like different people. It's definitely user friendly for groups that can meet occasionally or like have small times to be able to play together. So and feel like they want to do something.
hmm All right, Force Gray. So Force Gray, Matt Mercer from Critical Role runs
Hmm.
like kind of a super group of players, and this one had Joe Mangiello, the actor
Hmm.
from I don't know everything, True Blood, all sorts of stuff. Deborah Ann Wool, who's on Daredevil, and she's like a hardcore D&D player. She has her own
Hmm.
campaign. She runs stuff all the time.
Yep.
Matthew Lillard from Scooby Doo, Scream.
Yep.
Um, Ashley Johnson from Critical Role,
Yep.
and who am I missing? Did I get them
Kate
all?
Welch, who's from
Kate
the C
Welch.
team.
Hey, I want to ask you something.
Yes.
She repeatedly said her character was interested in inanimate construct creatures.
Hmm.
Is that a thing on Acquisitions Inc?
Um, I think so. I think she's just thirsty grandma. I think so. I think it fits in with her thing. I'm
No,
still
I
pretty
mean
behind. Yeah.
romantically.
Oh, probably.
There was a golem, and she got all like, I was like, what is happening right now?
I mean,
So
yeah, that is definitely a thing. Yeah, with Rosie.
there's some technical difficulty, so for about 10, 15 minutes you couldn't really watch the
Hmm.
show. They fixed it for the repeat, and so if you watch it on demand, they have a fixed version of it. You can just watch the whole thing.
Hmm.
But it started a little late, and they had to really kind of rush through it to a degree. So
Hmm.
basically, they got hired by Vajra, the black staff person,
Hmm.
and they had to go check out this guy who would come to Waterdeep, who was interested in her. So the group was supposed to go to dinner with this guy and then snoop around his place and see what they could learn about him.
Yeah,
And
I think.
they did, and it was the best part was that they're connected like telepathically. They can communicate with each
Yes.
other, so that way if the group splits up, they can still talk, which I really like.
Hmm.
So a couple of them snuck away. I don't know, whatever you call it, and the Minotaur, played by Joe, the group urged him to try to seduce the dude. So there was it was like it was drinking. and arm wrestling, and it was really
That's,
Joe's like
yeah,
a really fun guy. Like he's just like a really
yeah,
funny. He's just really fun to watch. I really like him. That
yeah.
whole
I don't
group
get
was
to
very good. You know?
yeah, I don't get to see them like that often. So, but it's nice to see. I do kind of like this format. I think better. I think the 1 hour force grade through is a little hard to like for me to kind of feel like invested in. But I do like these like
Mm.
2 hour chunks or like the things they did with the tomb feels more.
Force Gray, like when they do their shows, they would edit them down to a half hour,
Hmm.
and just for whatever reason, it just didn't work. I don't know why it didn't feel. I mean, it wasn't bad at all,
Yeah, like
but
2 hours. 2 hours I think
I
is like the
I
minimum you need
I
for
would
it.
think that if you did a show and you cut out all of the inconsequential dice rolls and looking up stuff, that would be good. But it somehow affected the flow of the show, and it just felt really weird. Wow.
Okay, you got a little bit of a spike there. I think it's better.
Oh, okay. All right. You can hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Dylan
Um,
says he hates the idea of RPing, not getting as much XP as combat. Well, that's like an age-old
yeah,
dilemma. Basically, if you just have them level just at a certain point, then you don't really have to worry about that. You
yeah.
know.
I mean, it's something that they might put in there just to like if a group wants to be heavy RP,
Hmm.
maybe a different way than what was it the what do they call the other one where it's milestone RP, yeah, milestone XP. So maybe they'll have a different thing for groups that tend to be, you know, social rather than like fighters and Waterdeep.
Lisa is here and she likes your hat.
Yay! Thanks, Lisa.
It's an awesome hat.
Birds hate this hat.
So Force Gray, it was good and funny and definitely worth checking out. It's really good.
Hmm. It's a good intro to like the whole like Waterdeep thing that they were doing.
Matt Mercer has done so much for D&D,
Hmm.
hasn't he?
Yeah, it's definitely a good ambassador for the show, and definitely got a whole ton of people like interested in the game and the hobby. So he's super good.
It was like voice actors from video games are, it's just it it's weird, but it blew up. It's very interesting.
Hmm.
I guess maybe voice actors are becoming. I mean, so many people play video games and they recognize the voices,
Yeah,
and anime as well. There's a lot of
yeah.
crossover there. You know,
Hmm.
it's
Because
very good.
I mean that's how I got back into like doing it like D&D like way more is by following like streamers that did D&D streams. So it definitely I know a lot of people that have got into this through like that direction. So that it's cool. It's definitely helped D&D a ton, I think.
Yeah, it's like it's weird how it worked out. Matt Mercer and his group like changed D&D just through their campaign. It's,
Hmm.
it's crazy. And I think when they first started, they were playing Path 3.5,
They were playing Pathfinder. Yeah, they're playing Pathfinder.
and then they jumped to 5th, and
Hmm.
that was a big thing. I
Hmm.
think when you look back on it, and there's other shows that are popular. If you go on Twitch,
Hmm.
right now the D&D streaming scene is so segmented. There's
Hmm.
shows that are super. There's a guy called the Bubbernaut who's been running the Shackled City Path, which I love the Shackled City Path.
Yeah.
I never heard of the guy, but it's very
Yeah.
popular when I saw it on Twitch. And there's
Yeah.
a Perception Check, which is like this is like the greatest idea ever, where they have like Muppets playing D&D.
Yeah.
This is like the funniest fucking thing ever.
Yeah. And then there's like yeah, like stuff like role play and stuff like that gets huge numbers.
But
It's
but you might
wonderful.
not even know about it. It's so
Hmm.
weird. It's like such a segmented thing, but everybody knows Critical Role.
Hmm. Yep.
It's weird. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So that was Force Gray. All right. So Dice Camera
Yeah.
Action. Can you tell everybody what happened on Dice Camera Action?
All right. The group got into the port and they ran into what they thought was Zandala, but ended up being her twin, Wandala. And they were attacked by forces from the Xanathar. And so they got caught in between like a Zentarum Xanathar like feud. And they basically fought them and got in the good, like kind of like made like slight peace with the Zentarum and now they're in Waterdeep, and that's basically short of it, what happened in that episode.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So Danny Hartel was the guest star. She's been on the show
Yes.
before. She
Hmm.
played Zandala. I really like
Hmm.
her.
Yeah.
She's like a fun person.
Hmm.
Um, oh, you know what? I wanted to note something.
Hmm.
They were all in costume, and I
Yes.
normally I don't give a
Yes.
crap about this, but
Hmm.
they looked so awesome.
They
Like,
that group has amazing costumes. Like
hmm
I love Nate's costume for Paulton. I love I've seen them in person. Those costumes are amazing. They're really good.
hmm and Danny's costume was awesome too.
Yeah.
Like they look.
That was her that she made that I think last year for like Dragon Con. I don't think she ever wore that Xandal costume on the stream, but
hmm
it's nice to see her actually wear it on at the table and stuff like that. It's cool.
Strix's costume gets more elaborate and evolves every time.
Oh, I know.
She's like,
It
there's like red hairs in there mixed in
there's
with the
like
black.
little straps. She's added a couple like minor magic items to it,
Mm,
and it's as someone who's dressed up as in that costume, it is intense. It's an intense costume.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just their costumes were like professional, like just
Hmm.
like ridiculously good, like just
Hmm.
like looked, and it was like you're sitting there watching it and you're like, these people, this is insane. And
There's a lot of
the set
yeah.
was so awesome. It was just it was just a really nice setup.
Yeah,
Um,
that plein air kind of like open feeling is really cool. I like the way that they did the set for
mhm.
this event.
And um, Nate was there, and it was great. It was good. Nate was right there, and this is awesome. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I personally think Warrington Munt the GIF is the best dice camera action NPC ever.
Oh, he's a delight. I love that character. I love the voice that Chris gives him. It's so much fun.
hmm And he fought alongside the heroes.
He
Paulton was getting beat up by a bunch of ogres with gills
oh
on their
he
necks, and he came over and
Chris
started punching one of them.
yeah. Oh, so good. The fisticuffs is like God. I was initially like a little more like apprehensive about it just because it seemed like it would be an enemy, but I love Monty. He's so good.
Yeah. In the chat, Aya is saying that Holly made the Strix costume and Paulton's costume, and
Hmm.
Anna
And
made most of hers.
yeah, I think Holly helped with Anna's like the breastplate and stuff like that, but yeah, she no, yeah, Paulton's costume is definitely hers, and um was Heidi Jared's wife made the his costume, which is also it's like there's a lot of detail in those costumes. It's crazy.
I actually, while I was watching, I made some clips. I think there was like 3 parts that I clipped, and they were all like really. I can't remember them now, but there's a lot of really funny stuff that happened during the battle. The battle was so chaotic. There's a lot of like NPC factions.
Yeah, they had like the City Watch, the Zents from the ship, and whatever came from the Xanathar, like that just came from the ocean.
Yeah, so there was from the ocean. There was 3 ogres with gills,
Hmm.
and that
Yep.
involved were I couldn't tell Dwergar. Was there
Dwargar,
Dwergar?
yeah, Dwargar like just kind of appeared, and then there was the Tiefling girl with the mini beholder, and the really creepy assassin
Mm,
without a face.
Odium. He had no
Odium, yes.
face, but he had tattooed on. He had eyes
He
and
had I think
mouth.
eyes all over his body. I think like as a tattoo. It's like
Oh,
real intense.
and they
Yeah.
looted. I think he's the one who had that dagger that they looted. Is that right?
Yes, the Misty Dagger or something like that. That is a good item. Like
hmm Yeah,
he has got some good items.
I added it to the wiki already. Actually,
Yeah.
he the dagger. You can cast Misty Step once per round,
Yes, Misty Step is yes.
and every time you do it, you get 5 temporary hit points. It's pretty sweet. So, yeah, there was Odium, and then there was a little girl with a baseball-sized beholder
Beholder.
sidekick.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it seems like it's yeah. That's a hook. I think that's definitely a plot hook for later.
And Dylan says there's also cultists with eyeballs on their foreheads, and a
Yeah.
suspicious seagull, and then Maloon War Dragon, was that his name?
Yeah, like she's in like a hireling for like whatever group, whatever stuff the Zenithar sent.
He came
That
out of the
was odd.
water.
Yeah,
What was he? Was he human? What
I
was
think he was a human. Yeah.
he? Yeah. And he had a magic axe called Azure Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that, and no, okay. So this was actually a major thing on the show to me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Maloon, like, Evelyn likes Maloon, and Maloon likes her.
Hmm.
So once the battle's over, he's like, please don't tell the cops that I was with the bad guys. And she's like, well, you're with
Yeah.
us now.
Yeah.
He says, are you single? And suddenly Paulton perks
Alton,
up
yeah.
and he points him out to the cops. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Paulton,
Yeah.
finally.
Paulton's starting to like kind of feel a little threatened by that and actually is showing like
Yeah.
that he cares like in that way for Evelyn. And that
Yeah.
was funny. Because like yeah, it's been like a little running thing that like Chris has been throwing like NPCs that
Hmm.
are kind of like are romantic toward Evelyn, at least a little bit,
Yeah.
or attracted to her.
Yep. And this guy was the one who was the most direct. And
Oh yeah.
Paulton suddenly, that's like the first time he's really ever perked up like that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, look at that. We got something going here after freaking 95 episodes.
It was good. It was really cool to see that like that moment play out with Nate at the table because he got like yeah he's really into it. Everybody was really into it at the table and like just seeing him like gesture and kind of like have that table interaction is really fun.
Yes, yeah, it was there. It's good to see them at the table. They looked very comfortable, and it's like, so you got the big show is Critical Role, and
Hmm.
then there's like this one is one of the after that. I mean, there's Acquisitions Inc. Although at this point, Acquisitions Inc. is kind of like a floating thing. It's not a set group anymore, you know.
But they do have the C team. C team I think is on that level with Dice Camera Action in there.
Yeah. And like if you're talking about like popularity, I think Critical Role gets like what, like 50,000 live views or something like that.
Oh, they get like 24 to 30,000, I think.
So this Stream of
Sometimes,
Many
yeah.
Eyes peaked at around 11,000
Yeah.
last night.
DCA got around 6 to 7,000 people watching it, which I think is
Yeah. They were on
more. Yeah.
later. So
Yeah.
for you and me on Eastern, that was like midnight. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that affected the views. But I
But
think it peaked
it's
until the Force Gray technical thing, and then it went down from there.
yeah.
So it's like, I think Dice Camera Action live shows usually get like, just, I don't know, average week now. What is it, like
2,000.
2,500
Yeah, like
peak? Yeah.
come mid 2,500. Yeah, around there.
So this was, I mean, this is a big Stream of Many Eyes is a big thing. It was funny to watch on Twitter other
Hmm.
companies kind of like Pathfinder. I really feel like they should get some stuff going,
I mean, they're trying. They're trying to.
and just, they have so many cool products and ideas and stuff. I would like to see them do stuff like this too.
Hmm.
Seems like they could do something. I mean, they do have one show, I think, and I think it was on last night, and it was like, oh well, I can't.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, Wizards has been pretty good about like kind of like harnessing like the streaming aspect of like D&D, like the strength of it. So
mm.
yeah, I mean,
All right.
this event is definitely showing that.
So, they got attacked by a million assassins. I guess the
Hmm.
Zentrum helped the heroes fight them off. And then after that, oh, so Zandala, Danny was playing. Was it the twin sister?
Wandala.
It
It
was the
is the
twin
twin
sister.
sister. Yeah, because she
Okay.
had, as far as I know, I mean, it could be elaborate, ruse of some sort. There's always a possibility. But like, she didn't know who the Waffle Crew was.
Uh,
She has like her interactions with the Centaurum are different. Like it seems like there is a history, and that is maybe definitely like her twin sister.
because they rolled natural 20s, yeah, on their checks. So
Hmm.
yeah. So that was a little weird, because I was like, for most of the show, I'm like, is this Zandala and she's lying, or is this somebody else?
Yeah,
It's somebody else.
because her name came up as a guest during the intro, like the little like credit sequence, and like who's she playing? Is she gonna play Scrummy, her like little like gnome? But like I didn't even think it would be like that was the last thing would be like Zendala or like a twin. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, good show, very good show. I thought.
Yeah, it
You know,
was fun. It was a light show, and I think it was everyone was having a lot of fun. I think definitely having by the table. The table shows are a delight. Like having all of them at one place is the energy is just like super high and it's good.
I love like 2 years ago they had the Meltdown live show, which
Hmm.
was just a little thing, and then last year they had the Stream of Annihilation, which was a pretty big
Yeah,
thing, and now this is a much bigger thing.
yeah.
I wonder if maybe this will turn into like a con or something.
They've done it. I hope they do it more often because like they did that for Plug last year, and that was amazing. That was so cool. I hope they do it again this year.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see like more Waffle Crew like live shows because they put that group puts so much into like the live shows. It's a delight. I kind of wish I went this year.
They're so into their characters that it,
Yes.
it, it helps tremendously, you know.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
they just really like the game, and like
Hmm.
that comes across, you know. It's really cool, you know, because a lot of D&D games kind of can drag, or you know what I
Hmm.
mean. A lot of D&D games collapse, but the show just continuously gets better. It seems like, right?
Hmm.
It's not really All right, we're just about out of time. Dylan points. Oh, Evelyn has her tattoos now. She
Yes.
did, yeah.
Yes. The construct tattoos that kind of like carried over
hmm
into the white looks good.
Lisa says that Joe is starting his own clothing company because he was wearing on Foursquare. Joe had this shirt about death saves,
Death saves. Yes.
and apparently we'll be able to buy those.
Hmm.
Check out at Death Save on Twitter. I will check that out because that sounds freaking awesome.
Yes.
So today it's about to start in about 5 minutes on the D&D channel. They're doing a whole bunch of shows. I think they're 2 hours long, just one after the other, and they're all gonna have some kind of continuous story.
Yeah.
So it's gonna start with Sirens of the Realms, and then just go from there. So
Yeah, and they said that there's going to be some carryover from like the non-stream games, like the live games that they're having at the event are going to impact it in some way, which would be interesting. See how this carries over into like continuous games.
yeah, really. All right. So thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody for
Yes, thank you.
watching. I'm gonna be back 10 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch, and we'll recap day two. Dylan will be here for that. And then, Shauna, you're going to be with me again tomorrow night to recap day three, right?
Day 3, yes, day 3.
All right. So
Good luck on day 2.
enjoy the shows, everybody. You can follow on my blog if you want to. And
Fun.
we'll talk to you again in not a long time.
Yes,
See
enjoy the
you.
streams.
All right. Enjoy the stream. See you later, everybody. Bye.
Okay.